Hello user. Today, let's unbox, compare and play through Star Trek: The Rebel Universe. An Atari ST game sporting impressive graphics, based on the legendary TV series of the 60s. This is the 1987 US release, which came in a quite sleek booklet format. The screenshots on the back cover are extraordinary. Indeed, Star Trek: The Rebel Universe was one of the games that showcased the graphical capabilities of the 16-bit micros.
Space, the final frontier.
Relying on its top-notch audio-visual presentation, it successfully drew players into feeling like they were living out a Star Trek TV episode.
Distress call from the GM production station on Janus 6 has brought the Enterprise to that long-established colony. Mr. Spock, Dr. McCoy, and I have beamed down to meet with Chief Engineer Vanderberg, administrative head of Janus 6.
The game puts you in command of the iconic Starship Enterprise and its crew. Each crew member is responsible for their own station, accessed by clicking on their quite realistic portrait. Mr. Sulu manages navigation, plotting courses to star systems and planets.
Now hand it over, sir.
Mr. Chekhov handles the weapon systems, defending the Enterprise during attacks.
All hands to battle stations.
Mr. Spock oversees the ship's computers, providing planetary and star system information, along with the ship's status. Chief Engineer Scott monitors the warp and impulse drives. Push his ship too hard and he'll issue a warning that would be most unwise to ignore.
If we keep the speed, we'll blow up any minute now. I never will understand you.
Lieutenant Uhura manages the ship's communications. Dr. McCoy oversees sickbay, keeping an eye on the crew's health. And last but not least, Captain Kirk gives access to the inventory and transporter screens. The game's scenario centers on the Klingons who, using the newly discovered dilithium-6 isotope, have developed a psi meter to telepathically subdue Federation starship crews. The first mutinies were reported in the Dakiak system, and they're spreading rapidly. In a desperate attempt to contain the spread, the Federation quarantined the contaminated systems, establishing a 100 light-year interstellar barrier centered on Dakiak. The Enterprise is ordered to enter the quarantine zone, identify the cause of the mutinies and neutralize it within 5 years. Otherwise, the barrier will be made permanent, trapping everything inside. There are different strategies to complete this mission. Capture the Klingon admiral in charge by beaming him aboard the Enterprise. Blackmail him by acquiring old files exposing his display of cowardice during his years at the Academy. Locate psychogen gas and use it on at least 6 rebel commanders to make them immune to Klingon control. Destroy the dilithium mining console on Dekian 2, cutting off the Klingons' fuel supply for the Psi meter. Destroy the power grid supplying the Psi meter by finding 6 lepton guns and using them on an equal number of I-beam generators. Create your own Psi meter by obtaining a dilithium D6 crystal and using it on the Federation's experimental Psi meter console. Interrupt Klingon communications by feeding false code files into their signals console. Release the peace virus, depriving the Klingons of their aggressive instincts and causing them to abandon their mission. Aside from the mission-specific items, you can find tactical ones on the planets you visit which can be installed on the Enterprise. For example, a logic emitter interferes with the Psi meter, preventing attacks from Rebel Federation ships. Romulan and Klingon jamming devices can cloak the Enterprise, making enemy attacks less likely. While the hotshot device increases the aiming accuracy of your phasers and photon torpedoes. Different planetary types in each solar system can also impact your mission. Tracking stations, for instance, alert the enemy of your presence while nebulous zones mask your location. At Federation repair docks, the Enterprise receives restoration. Communication beacons and archive complexes provide valuable intelligence when accessed by a Hura. Beaming down to life-supporting planets with your landing party is essential, as it allows you to find and utilize tactical or mission-critical items to fulfill your objectives. Game positions can be loaded and saved from Captain Kirk's screen, while the best strategy for winning the game is to take notes on which items are found on which planets during your exploration of space. Once enough information is gathered, you can choose your preferred path to complete the mission. Originally released exclusively for the Atari ST in 1987, Star Trek: The Rebel Universe was ported to the Commodore 64 a year later. Although the graphics were somewhat scaled back, they retained the same level of immersion alongside the unchanged gameplay featuring crew portraits in black and white, but a colorful bridge screen and control panels. A version for PC compatibles was also released in 1988. While more colorful than the Commodore version, its graphics didn't look quite as polished as those of the ST. Gameplay, on the other hand, is the same. Though an official Amiga release never materialized, a similar Star Trek game appeared in the public domain in 1989.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Spanning 3 discs, it featured a digitized animated intro, color bridge and crew photos in ham mode, as well as an abundance of sampled sounds from the TV series. Although your mission is slightly different, this game can be viewed as an unofficial Amiga port of the Rebel universe.
Now in standard orbit, sir.
I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
In summary, Star Trek The Rebel Universe is most memorable for its atmospheric visuals, which were quite remarkable for its time. Although gameplay-wise it might now feel dated, the game can be absorbing if given the proper amount of time. Finally, let's play through the game by following one of the possible paths to complete the mission.
Now in standard orbit, sir. If we keep this speed, we'll blow up any minute now. Now in standard orbit, sir. Now in standard orbit, sir. If we keep this speed, we'll blow up any minute now. Now in standard orbit, sir. Battle stations, all decks to battle stations. Battle stations, all decks to battle stations. Not on target. Ground standard orbit, sir. Battle stations, all decks to battle stations.
Live long and prosper.